Let's get it. I know going into season 18, a lot of folks are very disappointed. They expected all kinds of fireworks based on the trailer, that Kody was going to be getting cussed out left and right, and he was going to be crying like, oh, I can't believe it's going down like this. And Robin was going to be losing her mind, pulling her hair out on Coyote Pass, sitting on the bench, sitting there looking lonely and homeless. Like, I know that that's what people expected. And to be honest with you, I'm not disappointed with the way things are working out. And I'll tell you why. I started watching Sister Wives around season 16. And over the summer, I went back and I started doing a retrospective where I was going through season 1, episode 1, and I crawled through all the way to season 13 I'm on now, about to go into season 14. I'm almost at the tell-all. And I got to tell you, because I did it the way I did it, I binge watched a lot of this stuff. I knew a lot of the information already, but I wanted to get the context for the information, so I went back and I watched it. And I have to tell you, because I'm in the state I'm in, and I sat here and binge watched this man season after season, episode after episode, mistreat, bully, victimize, taunt, manipulate these ladies, take them for granted. Not only mistreat these ladies, but their kids on top of it. Just terrible to everybody. It gives me so much pleasure to watch Christine get her comeuppance on this dude. Because she deserves it. These other ladies deserve it too. But Christine, oh baby, she laid it out. In this one clip I'm about to show you, she laid it out. And she succinctly and perfectly stated exactly what it is. Like, I'm looking at this season, this comeuppance season, as kind of a meal. Like, when you go to a fine restaurant, you don't just go there and start scarfing stuff down. You want to get the full experience. You want the ambiance. You want the good company. You want to be dressed up. You want to have your suit, tie, whole nine, suited and booted. You know what I mean? You want to sit down, and when that meal hits the table, you want to savor everything, the smell, the aroma coming off the food, the visuals. Okay, when you take a bite, you want to savor every morsel. And that's where I am with Sister Wives. I'm savoring every morsel because I'm thoroughly enjoying watching Christine come into her own. And there is a point where you can say, by her taking her power back, it minimizes and it reveals the true character and nature of the man that she had dedicated so much time to. Because he didn't value her. He didn't realize that he was standing on her shoulders, her and the OG3. He was standing on top of these ladies in order for him to reach the heights that he's been able to reach. And he didn't realize that. And I think that, and I won't say that, I don't give him the credit that I think he's about to come around and start realizing what he actually lost and what he gave up, because I don't think he's there yet. I don't even think he's in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, he's not even in the block. You know what I mean? So I don't think he's knocking on that door yet. But I think that he's turning that corner. He's heading in the city limits. You can see the city limits. So I'm about to show this video, but before I get into it, and we start talking about the comeuppance and how Christine took her power back and how it's negatively affecting Kody and why I enjoy it so much, I want to first ask that if you guys are enjoying the content, that you consider giving me the thumbs up. It really helps me know that you guys are enjoying the content I'm putting out, as well as it helps with the YouTube stuff as far as the algorithm. Also, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? It's easy to do. You're watching the video, subscribe. It helps me out. It helps the channel out. Hey, who doesn't want to help a brother out? So go ahead and give me that HBO special by hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications, and you will be notified when I upload new videos. And hopefully soon, when I'm able to piece together some of my stuff and I can get myself another computer, I can redo everything and I go live, we can take this show on the road and I can start getting some feedback from you guys and we can start having the deeper conversations about it. All right. Now, with all that being said, let's take a look at this first video that I pulled from this season 18, episode 2, that to me perfectly succinctly talks about Christine and her journey, her hero's journey. Dare I say it, her hero's journey through the Brown family and where she is now.
For years I cared. Whatever he needed, whatever he wanted, I wanted to be the best Why, ever. Even when it didn't matter to him, I would have done anything he needed me to do. But I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done. I'm not going to do a thing for him anymore.
I'm done. I'm done. Like, this is, to me, describes perfectly not only Christine's story, but it harkens a lot to Janelle's story and even to a degree Mary's story and how they play into this family. Like, they give so much of themselves as partners and as spouses. They not only try to meet Kody's needs because they care about him emotionally, but they feel as though it's their duty. Even when he's neglecting them and mistreating them and not treating them properly, not taking them into consideration, they still want to become the best wives they could possibly be, the best partners they could possibly be. And that's what Christine was saying. That even though Kody didn't appreciate me, I wanted to be the best I could be for him. I was looking at the big picture. When Kody talks about the big picture, that, my friend, is the big picture. She was trying to make her family work. And when she realized that her family was not going to go the way she wanted it, and her future and her partnership with Kody was not going to turn out the way it was supposed to, as far as her benefiting from her contribution to the family, she decided to remove herself from that situation. And that is the most powerful thing you can do. A lot of times we try to focus on the revenge tactics, the get back, the payback, and all that other stuff. When push comes down to shove, as said many, many times before, not by me, but by people way smarter than me, the best revenge is living well. When she's getting her revenge, as we'll see, because you know James brought the receipts. That's what I do. I bring the receipts. When she's getting her revenge, he's impacted by the fact that she's past him. That hurts him way more than anything she could have said. There's some choice things that even watching season 17, I was like, oh, your girlfriend, you should have went off. You should have went ham. That's hard as a mother on this dude. You should have lost your mind. When you were sitting on the porch and he's standing there cussing you out, telling you how much he sacrificed and how much he gave to be with you in order to make you happy, you should have lost your mind on it. But that's what I was saying. That's how I felt. But she didn't have to. Because what she did was so much more effective. And her saying things would only affect him so much. And this is the reality of it. What she had to say to him would have only went so far as he was concerned. She could cuss him out, yell at him, call him names, tell him the truth about himself. But when rubber meets the road, he would walk off that porch and say, oh, she don't know what she's talking about. She loves me. She's so desperate. She's a pick me. Pick me, pick me. That's how he saw her. But when the pick me turns around and says, you know what? I'm done. And for fellas, if you don't listen to nothing I say, I'm telling you, when you can do a lot of things to a woman, you can put a lot of weight on her. You can put her through all kinds of hell. You can run her through obstacles. You can do all kinds of stuff. Depending on how much emotional tie she has to you and how vested she is in the relationship and a lot of different other things, you can do a lot to a woman. But when she has reached her limit, when she is full up, when she is kaputski, done, when she is finished, she is finished. And there's nothing you're going to be able to do or say that's going to convince her to come back. And this is part of the reason why I harp so heavily on people when you're involved in these relationships. Don't take your relationship for granted. Don't assume that the person, because they had always been there. Christine and Kody had known each other for 30 years or something like that. They've been married for 20 some odd years, close to 30 years. Don't think that because you've been married for 20 years that you're going to be married for 20 more. Don't think that because you've come this far that you have the right to continue with that person the way you've been going with them. You don't. Every day is a decision. Every day you wake up, no matter how long you've been together, 20 years, 50 years, a month or a day. Every day that person could wake up and say, you know what, this is no longer for me and I'm moving on. And I want to talk more about that particular issue in another video with regard to Robin and her foolishness. But let's continue. In this next clip, I want to show Kody's initial reaction. When he comes in and they take a little pause, they have some conversation, Kody resorts back to his old tactics. And I want to take a quick look at that to see the difference in the polarity shift, the polar shift in how he addresses Christine and how he talks about these issues. Let's get it. Oh, sad face.
I've really struggled. I've been pretty grouchy, very, very angry.
So you're still kind of angry and stuff?
Oh man, that's my favorite. That is my favorite. Dude, if you don't, look, I'm telling you, if you've never been friends with women, you've never studied women, you've never been around women, you don't know that this is how women get you. This is like the ultimate woman jujitsu move. Like they flip that. Oh man, it burns. It burns, baby. It burns. It. Woo! You hit the ground burning, you woke up frostbit. Because it is, not only is it burn you, but it's cold as ice. What she did to him, because he's sitting there crying and, oh, you know, I'm so angry and I'm mad because this really hurt me and I'm being vulnerable and you know I'm a strong man, because that's what he always says, like I'm a man and this is what men think and this is how men react, because he always has to try to offset it, which is kind of weird, because if you're a man and you do anything, that's what a man would do, because you're a man and you're doing it. But if you're not sure about your masculinity and this is something that's fragile to you, then you have to continually state that this is what men do, right? So he's being fragile and he's being exposed, he's being vulnerable. And I'm not laughing at the fact that he's vulnerable at this moment, because men need to start showing more vulnerability. That's not a weakness. That's a strength for you to be able to show vulnerability. What I'm laughing at is that he tried to use this as a form of manipulation. This is what he used before in order to enact her training, because he trained her to be this way. She was brought up this way. When you listen to her mom talk about her relationship with Christine's father, she talks about how the expectation was that he could go off and do whatever he wanted to do and she would always be there. That's part of the training in this particular culture. And I know people are going to say, James, you don't understand LDS, da 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 da. Maybe your training is different, but this is what I see overall as far as some of this culture is concerned and some of the polygamous relationships are concerned. There's a certain level of training that's involved. When he was sitting there pretending to be hurt and vulnerable, then what she should have done, like she said in the previous clip, she was supposed to come in and start to heal him, to make him feel better, to reassure him. This is a way that she should have fell back into her old ways and gone back into the situation. But she did the jujitsu move where she looks him in the face and say, oh, you're still upset about that? And to me, that has a lot of weight. Let me explain why. Why does that have a lot of weight, James? I'm going to tell you. In season 17, when he stood on that porch and he told her, woman, I had to make all kinds of sacrifices in order for me to spend time with you and be with you. I was spending time with you away from the people that I love and the people I want to spend time with, Robin and her kids. I spent time with you and your kids. Your little badass kids. That's basically what he told her in season 17. In the previous seasons, he told her on multiple occasions that he was not attracted to her. He was never attracted to her. And he went as far as in season 1. In season 2, I don't know, I'm mistaken, season 2, when they were doing the tell-all on the Today Show, he sat there and talked about how in the book, he had described her as being disgusting. He was disgusted by her when she was eating nachos. So when he sits there and pretends like he gave up so much and he sacrificed so much and he poured so much energy and effort into her, when she said, oh, you still upset about that? I thought you would be relieved. I thought you would be okay because I removed my burden from your back, son. I'm making it better for you. Now you get to spend as much time as you want with Robin, and I'm not here to complain about you doing it. I thought this would be what you wanted. And that's the jujitsu move. That and the fact that like the feigned concern, like, oh, wow, are you okay? Are you... If you don't know, this is a killer. You break up with your lady and you call up, look, baby, I'm trying to get you back. I know I messed up. I was cheating with your sister, but I want you back, girl. And I'm ready to, bring you back home. James. James. It's over. I'll be right with you, Tom. I'm sorry. But like I said, you got to enjoy every morsel. Now, the next episode, or the next clip I want to show, I want to talk about Kody and the shift. Because remember I said that there was a shift, a huge polar shift of how he was treating her. When he first tried to manipulate her by the tears and the sympathy, and that didn't work, then all of a sudden he shifts into the old habit of who Kody actually is. The mask got knocked off. So this is the equivalent of if you have a guy who is maybe abusive, we'll say it that way, so I don't get demonetized and kicked off YouTube. But if he doesn't treat his ladies right, and he'll come back and he'll pretend that he's changed and things are different, and oh my goodness, I have such regret for how I treated you and how poorly you were behaving and how I misbehaved. Oh God, I'm sorry. And when she doesn't feed back into it the way she used to, because she's done, then all of a sudden you start to get the real one. You start to see him, the mask shifts a little bit, and you start to see the reason why you left. Your whole reason why you packed your bags gets justified. And that's what we're going to see in this next clip. Let's take a look.
You get me in the wrong place, and I'm just venom and vitriol.
Ooh. So sometimes you still hate me. It's okay.
It's okay. You don't even know what to do with that.
I don't want you to pretend there's no point in that.
I think it gives you satisfaction if I did hate you.
It doesn't. It's heartbreaking.
Sure?
It's heartbreaking. I really think about him less than he thinks I think about him.
Oh.
I don't really even think about him that much.
I wish I was more ambivalent.
Ouch.
But
You don't have to pretend.
Ooh.
I don't want you to pretend there's no point in that.
Oh, you don't have to pretend. There's no point in that. You don't have to pretend that you're not hurt, because I know you hurt. I'm looking at you. Oh man, like I said, this is a killer. If you guys didn't catch this, I'm sorry that you didn't catch it. Hopefully you see it now. This is crazy devastating. He's sitting there like, oh, you hate me, don't you? No, I don't even think about your ass. Oh man, and he can see from her reaction when he pauses. That's him starting to realize that she doesn't really care. She's out the game. Into a person who exhibits narcissistic tendencies or traits, this is a killer. This hurts him way more than anything she could have said to him. She could have cussed him out for 20 minutes on that porch, and it wouldn't have affected him nowhere near as much as it does when she can look him in the face and say, I don't really care. That, I don't think about you at all. I mean, I'm thinking about you now because I'm sitting here talking to you, but when I get up from this table, I'm going to walk away from you and this conversation, and I'm not going to think twice about you. You're going to still be sitting there yelling and cussing at Robin, calling me all kinds of names, but I'm not going to consider you once. Years ago, there was a show called Jenny Jones, and I'm about to show my age. It was a talk show. And part of the talk show scene, they used to have things where they would have like, I used to get bullied, but now I'm better, or I went from like nerd to herd, or whatever the hell it was. And then basically the show was essentially, you bullied me when I was in high school. I went to the gym every day. Because you made me cry and feel bad. I lost all this weight. Now my body is fantastic and I have money. And they call these people on the show that used to bully them, and they tell them like, I've been thinking about you every day for the last 15 years. And when the person comes out, they think that the person they bullied is their friend, because in their mind, the relationship was awesome, right? But they come out and the person who got bullied always, it struck me because the person who got bullied, they spent the last 15 years of their life getting in tremendous shape, getting all kinds of plastic surgery done, getting their career, their finances together, and they live in the kind of life that is specifically designed to make the bully feel bad. And the bully pretty much always has said, like, well, I'm fat and I don't have much and I work every day and I have a job, but I have a family. I have people who love me and people who care about me. And to be honest with you, even though you spent the last 15 years of your life dedicated to me, I haven't thought about you since graduation. That is the biggest insult ever. That's the equivalent of you claiming that somebody is your arch nemesis. You're my arch nemesis, my arch enemy. You're my rival. And you're like, man, I don't even know who you are. You know what you did to me and my family? I spent the last 20 years of my life dedicated to destroying you because you're my enemy. I have no idea who you are. And that's why this is so devastating to Kody. And I'm going to say from the beginning that part of the reason why I'm taking so much pleasure in this is because I hate bullies. I hate bullies. And this is childish and immature on my part, and I understand it. It's a weakness, it's a downfall, whatever you want to call it. It's something, derogatory towards my character. I'm fine with that. But this is one of the things that I like to see situations where people actually come up. Not they spend the 15 years of their life trying to get back at somebody, because that's wasted time, energy, and effort. You've spent so much time dedicated to this person who hasn't thought about you twice that you haven't focused on yourself once. Okay? Christine is focusing on herself, and by her doing that, she's getting the comeuppance that she needs. And this takes away all power that Kody has. And this is the swan moment for Christine, where she's showing that she is the person who she was always meant to be, and she's fine with it. And for Kody, I'm gonna bully you into loving me now. I'm gonna tell you some things that's gonna hurt your feelings, and I'm gonna make you feel me. And I don't like bullies. And so when I see this, in the words of Craig's dad from Friday,
that's my pleasure.
In order for this to work, he needs for Christine to hate him. Because if Christine is hating him, that means she's spending time on him. She's thinking about him. In the next clip that I want to show Kody's reaction to Christine actually moving on. And him coming to the point where he's starting to realize that she doesn't need it. Like I said, I don't think he's really at that point yet. That's not fair. I think that he's annoyed by the idea that she may have moved on. And once he starts to broach the subject of the possibility that she no longer needs him or requires him, he has to give an excuse as to why that could possibly be. Let's take a listen.
She's trying to say it's heartbreaking. She's acting like, in every way possible, that her life is better than it has ever been.
Because it is. She's acting like she's acting like her life is better than it ever has been. And clearly, we all know that that's not possible, because I am no longer in her life. My man, you a joke. You a damn joke. If you think for a moment that you were so important in her life and such a fixture in her life that she could never move on past you, then you never understood your vulnerability. And because you never realized your invulnerability, you didn't realize that you had so much to lose, and therefore you don't appreciate the fact that you lost it. One of the craziest things about our culture is that we have a fascination about youth and eternal life. Like, that's why vampires are so impressive now, and everybody wants to be a vampire. Everybody wants to be a werewolf, because a werewolf is supposed to live forever. And everybody wants to live eternally and be at 300 years old and still look like they 20 with the washboard abs. But the truth of the matter is that if you live to 400, 500, 1,000 years, then you would be pressed to do nothing. You wouldn't have the drive to do anything. Many of us would spend or whittle out our eternities away doing absolutely positively nothing. And that's the reality of it, is that when you have a vulnerability where you realize that life is short, you realize life is precious, and not a moment of it should be wasted. Not a moment or a second should be wasted on people, things, or activities, jobs, careers, that don't add anything to your life. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have to go to work. That'd be ridiculous and naive. What I am saying is that if you are working 60 hours to 100 hours a week, and you're taking time away from your family so that you can answer emails, so that you can maybe make another $500 a week or $1,000 every 2 weeks, $1,000 a month or whatever, and you're taking that time away from your family, please understand that your priorities might need to be looked at. Because at the end of the day, nobody has ever looked back from their deathbed and said, damn, I wish I had more time to answer emails. I wish I could have went in for another day of work. The things that you're going to miss in life are going to be the things that are fleeting, the things that pass you by. Your child's first walk, their first words, the first time they say your name, daddy, mama. That's what you're going to miss. And if you waste your time frittering it away on foolish things and foolishness, then you don't realize the vulnerability that you have. And so therefore, if you think that you have forever to go back and mend this relationship with your kids, Kody, and you think that it doesn't matter because they're younger than you and you have all the time in the world to do it, then you don't understand how life works. Because sometimes the last time you spoke to somebody might be the last time you get to speak to that person. And the last time that you take advantage of Christine and you took advantage or you took her for granted thinking that she would always be around, that's the last time you get to have a conversation with her as husband and wife. Now you having conversations as mama and papa, co-parent, and potentially, maybe, hopefully friends one day. That's the best you can hope for. Now, this last video, again, this last clip I want to show demonstrates the level of manipulation that Kody tries to exert when talking to his wife. This is like a last ditch, I'm going to try, he's trying to pull all the stops. He's pulling all his favorite moves that he used to pull that used to work. And so let's take a listen to what he has to say in this next clip.
I thought about doing breakup counseling with you, like, hey, we're done.
Oh, did you?
Let's get in a place where we can be functional, because I don't want to sit here and...
Post breakup counseling?
Yes. Well, maybe all I need is grief counseling. Listen, I got to get in a place where I don't hate you, so I never speak bad about you to my children.
Oh,
that's my worry.
That'd be great. That'd be great if you didn't talk shit about me to my kids. That would be wonderful. Now, with regard to, I don't want to be so angry that I start talking crap to the kids about you and I talk negatively about you. Initially, I took that as a shot against Christine and against Janelle, because there's been a recurring theme that these two ladies are turning their kids against Kody because they're talking crap about Kody behind his back to the kids. That's what Kody is taking his position. That's the blame he assigns for why he has such a poor relationship with his children. I thought it was a shot to them. But then as I thought about it, there's a video that I wanted to shoot because I wanted to do it as a live, and then my computer got bricked. And so I wasn't able to go live. But the subject matter I wanted to talk about was actually the issue of the adoption that occurred with Robin. Because in that series, or as I wanted to do that exploratory video and that discussion, as I would talk about in that discussion that I'm going to shoot and I'm going to post, and I hope you guys watch it, is that Kody got a front row seat to a woman who actively turned her kids against their father. Kody got a front row seat to seeing a woman down talk, bad talk, crap talk, shit talk her baby daddy, and then turn around and shoehorn her kids onto another man. Kody got a front row seat to that. And at this point, I would simply give the advice to Kody. Kody, if you ever watch this, well, you might be sitting here mad, and if you made it this far, here's a good sound piece of advice. Don't worry about how Christine is doing you. Because you just have to pick up the phone and start trying to build a relationship with your kids. And she is actively, at least by the show standard, and from what I see, she's actively trying to facilitate a relationship between you and your kids. She's not denying you or telling you you can't see your kids. From what I understand and from what I'm watching, she's in town every 14 days or so, bringing them kids 4 hours away down to see you. That's not her keeping the kids from you. Her moving away and bringing the kids back to you is not keeping the kids from you. What you're talking about is what Robin did. What Robin did was she moved away from her husband, then she moved in with you and your family. Then she actively stripped away her husband's or ex-husband's rights to his kids and then refused him visitation. That's what you're worried about. I would also say, Kody, that you should, and this is just me giving my opinion and observation based on what I've seen on the show. I'm not saying she would do it. I'm not saying that this is what's definitely going to happen. But in my opinion, people do what people do. People are who they are. And if you watch this woman tear this man down, and when she breaks up with him, her ex-husband, Robin, I'm talking about specifically, when she breaks up with her ex-husband and she implies that he SA'd her, he raped her, then she implies that he was mistreating her and the children. And this is the reason why she doesn't want the kids to go out to him, even though right after they got adoption, the adoption went through, she turned right around and sent them down to the father for 2 weeks with the dad, even though she thought he was so crazy and so abusive. She did that. But she ran him down on the show. You're worried about the wrong one, Kody. And it won't surprise me that when your stuff starts falling apart, that you're not bringing in money, level of money you bringing in, and then all of a sudden your relationship starts struggling with Robin, that she will turn around and accuse you of being a horrible person. And I guarantee that that's going to happen. And what she's going to use is people and the audience's experiences from the show to demonstrate how abusive you were. And the same way she'll sit there and say, I had no idea, I didn't do it like this, I didn't realize. She's going to sit there and play Miss Innocent and sit around and talk about try to manipulate the audience and say, I didn't know Kody was so bad, I didn't want to be in that relationship, and I don't know what was going on. And it's going to be tears flowing and accusations flying. Just keep an eye out for that. Hopefully I'm wrong, but we shall see. Look, guys, that's my take. I'm James. This has been my take on reality, and I'm out. 'Cause I've been living